What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be doing our horror movie haul for the month of December. All the gifts and buys and purchases from all over the place. So maybe we can find something that you'll like, that you didn't hear of. All right, guys, like I said, these are just from all over the place. These are movies that I've actually picked up by myself. They were either, maybe a gift that somebody had actually donated some money for us to go out and buy, somewhere that we picked up online, or just straight up gifts that were given to me for the month of December. So let's get into them one at a time. First up, we got Moonchild, which is a Visual Vengeance release, which is a sister company of Wild Eye Releasing, but you can pick one up now. It's out now. It's a Todd Sheets shot on video film about a man who can change into a werewolf. I did an entire review of this on my channel, so if you want to check it out, it's one of the more recent videos that we've done. Check that out and see what you think. If you're a shot on video fan or Todd Sheets fan, you might want to pick this up, as it has a ton of extras that I go over in that video too. So check it out. Up next, we got Maniac Driver, which this is actually a 2020 film. And at first I thought it was like a sort of like a remake or something like that, but this is a Japanese movie that is from the director of Gunwoman and Karate Kill, which it's essentially about a deranged taxi driver who appears to be randomly stalking and killing various young women on the streets of Tokyo, and his, of course, descent into madness. It follows a personal tragedy that has since left him in a search of a worthy victim to satisfy his own bloodlust and possible death, but it is anything as it seems. Now, they're saying this is sort of a sexploitation, like a modern sexploitation giallo throwback. So it's got like a mixture of like the music and the shots and stuff that they would have done for the Italian films and maybe some of the Spanish films and such. But you can check this out for yourself. It's actually out now. You can pick it up from MVD Entertainment Group. It is a pretty rare release. It's from Real Gore, but I think it's a Diabolic DVD as well release. So I don't know, less what the label says under the MVD Entertainment Group. I'll put a link down below if you're curious about this. I will be reviewing this here soon. It's actually going to be coming up real soon. And I got another one I'm going to be doing as well. I've just been really caught up trying to do the top 20 horror movies of the year and everything that's been going on in my life, as well as holidays and such. So it's been crazy. So I'm a little behind on this, but I will get to this. But have you seen this? Do you know this? Have you picked one up for yourself? Let me know. Up next, we got another Visual Vengeance release. Thank you so much for sending these out. I love these. I'm catching up on a lot of SOV films that I've not seen. This one is a Heartland of Darkness, which I think was a lost film, Linnea Quigley film back in the 80s that she did. That was actually kind of a interesting concept of like this cult and like evil, and it looks really cool. Like, I watched the trailer of it. I'm going to be reviewing this one as well. It says in a small town of Coppertown, Ohio, former big city journalist Paul Henson buys a small local newspaper. He quickly falls into a wide-reaching conspiracy of ritualistic murder and cult mind control when he discovers the entire town may be under the spell of a satanic reverend and his flock. As the clues and corpses pile up, Henson and his family are thrust into a life of a death struggle to expose the truth and stop the demonic cabal's reign of evil. This is considered one of Linnea Quigley's lost films, I guess, also referred to as Blood Church. It was shot in 1989 by director Eric Swelstad on 16mm film, and it is sort of just been kind of lost in the mix because of multiple different reasons. It's finally out, and Visual Vengeance has been picking up a lot of these like hard to find movies and literally putting them out. I think one of the movies I saw that had some demonic stuff in it that I did a review on before, they even tried to re-edit the film and put it out in a full version, a newer version. So they're really doing a lot of really cool stuff with like lost films, SOV films. I guess this is technically not shot on video because it's a 16mm, but it still has the spirit of that sort of, get out there and do it kind of thing. This actually has a budget, and it is pretty wild looking. There's a lot of gore and crazy stuff on the screen. Plus, you got a really young Linnea Quigley in here, a movie that you maybe have never seen. So if you're a fan of hers, you might want to pick this up. I will put links to all of of these movies up for you to be able to pick them up. MVD Entertainment Group, they're a huge supporter of this channel, and I will always be supporting them anytime because they're very, very, very nice to be sending me these movies, to tell you guys about them, to reach a crowd that will enjoy this kind of stuff. And I think a lot of you guys who watch this channel are into some of these weird gems like me. So let me know if you've seen this, by the way, too. I am going to be watching this after Maniac Driver, so we'll get into it.
My God does have mercy, but I don't.
Up next, some pickups that we got at the Big Lots. We normally don't go to Big Lots anymore since they kind of started raising their prices, but I think they're like kind of regretting some of those decisions because a lot of them will just sit on their shelf, because what they'll do is they'll like repurpose like dollar buys, because all these different distributors will have all these extra movies on their shelf. They'll sell them for like pennies on the dollar, you know, for the Dollar Tree, and you know, you pay $1.25 for them, and they'll just sit on the shelf here at Big Lots until they mark them down. But occasionally they get some other stuff in there, like this one, Strangers Pray at Night, which is the sequel to Strangers. It's the unrated copy. I actually didn't mind this movie too much. I wasn't a big fan of Strangers, but you know, this isn't a bad watch. You can pop it on and watch it very easily. I think I gave it like a 6.5 or something like that. It's pretty bloody, pretty gory, and if you really just kind of tune out and have fun with it, it's actually not too bad. But Christina picked this one up for $3 at Big Lots. Up next, we got The Bloodlands, which is one of those marked down videos. Oh, you can't see it. It says 75 cents at Big Lots. It was $3 on DVD, but this has Pollyanna McIntosh in it. I've never heard of The Bloodlands, but I do know Pollyanna McIntosh, and she does some pretty extreme roles. I've seen some good and bad movies that she's been in, but for the most part, she does some pretty good work. And I was kind of curious about this, but Christina just picked it up on a whim for us, so maybe we should watch this. Have you seen it? Let me know. Up next, this sounds super familiar, and I am not 100% sure. It's called Patient Zero. This has Matt Smith, Stanley Tucci, and Natalie Dormer in it. And I swear to God, I don't think I've ever seen this movie. It's such a ragtag group of people that are in this movie about a pandemic thriller, some sort of virus that's being transmitted via zombie style. This is not the sequel to Cabin Fever, at least I'm pretty sure, but it was $3 at Big Lots. Christina took a kind of whim on this one to see, you know, if it might be worth something, so we decided to keep it. But yeah, have you seen this movie? Is it worth watching? It kind of looks a little run-of-the-mill, but hey, we'll give it a chance, you know. Up next, we got a pretty decent Takashi Miike film, which if you aren't familiar with Takashi Miike, he did, of course, you know, Gozu, he did Ichi the Killer, and many other films. He's done well over 100 films now, and he has kind of switched his style around a lot over the years. Some of his earlier works are a little bit more wilder, gorier, and disgusting sometimes. Just very strange films in general, but this one was a little bit more of the crime thriller romance. It is a little weird in some parts. I remember watching this and kind of enjoying it. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was somewhere in between, but there is a lot of crazy stuff that happens in here, and he's really good at crime thrillers and making them very unique for the most part, but he does pump out a lot of movies, so it's hard to keep up with him. Some I like, some I don't, but I still appreciate Takashi Miike, and at some point, I'm going to pick it up if I see his name on it, just because I'm sure it'll be a decent watch for the most part. But if I see his name on it, I'll probably pick it up, especially if it's in a Blu-ray format like this for $3 at Big Lots. Hey, why not? It was actually a pretty good watch. If you saw it and you liked it, let me know. So these next ones I got are from my parents. They gave me for Christmas, just as kind of like gifts that they found. It's Luke Hemsworth, like he's one of the Hemsworth brothers, called Encounter. And it's an alien film, but I don't know anything about it. It is when an otherworldly organism crash lands on Earth, a group of grief-stricken friends, led by Luke Hemsworth, Anna Hutchinson, and Tom Atkins, must overcome a recent tragedy and face their fear of the unknown to uncover the unimaginable secret the alien holds. But with the FBI closing in, time is running out. Anybody seen this? I'm not sure. Thanks, Mom and Dad. Maybe? We got another one. It's Ghosts of the Graveyard, or Ghosts in the Graveyard. I apologize. We got Jake Busey, Kelly Berglund, and Olivia Larson, who are in this sort of, not sure what to think. It looks like a supernatural film, like a supernatural drama film, which I'll be honest, some of these movies can go really south really quick. I've never heard of this, but yeah. I don't know. It says that there's a haunted by her past, Sally Sullivan returns home seeking to uncover mysteries of her childhood, which include the death of her best friend Martha and the disappearance of her mother and the mysterious baby she has suddenly been entrusted with along with her father Charlie and her brother Billy. Although she seeks a normal life back in the hometown of Mount Moriah, the ghosts of her past still linger. The mean girls who blame her for her mother's, Martha's, death, the cute boy who's always stood by her, the secrets of her family hidden somewhere out there. As Sally struggles to discover her true identity, her family and friends struggle with the desire to protect her and her need to know the truth. And as Sally gets closer and closer to the truth, the answers to her questions will not be what you think. And Sally's story begins here. I don't know, man. It was a buck for my family. Thanks, Mom and Dad. I love you guys. I don't think they knew what they were grabbing when they grabbed this. Now, this is another one called House at the End of the Street. This is funny because the director of this movie, and it's Jennifer Lawrence movie, by the way. This is the director, Mark Tonderai, who did the movie Spell, which is an infinitely better film than this film. I have tried to watch this film like 3 or 4 times. I'm not a big fan of it, but there are people out there that really do like it. Spell is an infinitely better film than this, but I already have a copy of this, so I'm going to pawn it off on you guys. So if you like it, let me know. Maybe I'll just send it out to you, okay? It was only $1 at the Dollar Tree. I've seen it there 1,000,000 times. I'm not a fan of this movie. I don't even know if I still have my own copy, but here it is. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad. I know you didn't know. I love you for getting me stuff like this. Thank you. Down to the last 2, by the way, guys. So we got a big one here that I got and saw on Shudder earlier this year that may be on the top 20 this year, and that is Mad God. Phil Tippett's Mad God. Now, if you have never seen this movie, this is not a typical, like, story-driven plot. This is like akin to watching, I don't know, 2001: A Space Odyssey, basically, only with claymation and like creativity, and it's sort of like a journey into the soul of a mad god and kind of the creations that he has created, the sort of nastiness of life itself, contradictions of religion and all the idols that we worship, regardless of what type of religion that is. It is deeply unsettling and absolutely fucking amazingly beautiful at the goddamn same time. How someone made this, and 30 years in the making it took, well, technically about 17, but he started this 30 years ago. He made like a 5-minute clip, and then that's in this movie along with all of the other stuff that he and his production team put together this entire movie. And man, some of the extras on here are really fantastic. You got Phil Tippett and Guillermo del Toro, who are sitting down together talking about why he made this film and how he was inspired by some art. I won't spoil what that is. It's really interesting, so you really should check it out. But he and Guillermo del Toro, it's just them talking together. These guys, like Guillermo del Toro, can talk about anything. He is just one of the most knowledgeable people that you can find out there, and you can't find a bigger fan of just so many different things. Guillermo del Toro loves like anime, he loves horror, he loves, I mean, you can just name it, Spanish film, he loves film in general, he loves artwork, he loves everything. It's like a pioneer of creativity. But this movie in particular, he is a fan of as well, and that's why he came on to speak with Phil Tippett, who is a mad god himself and creating quite the mirroring piece of the world that he sees through this really fucking dystopian, fucked up, and amazing film. Like, I can't speak higher about this. There's a ton of extra behind the scenes stuff on here, but this is the steelbook case that I got. It comes with the DVD and the Blu-ray with it, which, man, I wish we could get this in 4K, but I'll have it anyway. But this I got at Best Buy for like $20. It was well worth it. Definitely not a regular movie for most people, but if you are into visual masterpieces, this is definitely one of them. This is probably one of the most amazing things that have been made in a long time. And I say that because it is not like a movie, it is an experience. And I know I may be talking very highly of it, but I really, really enjoyed this. There is not many things that have been made like this, and I think people should appreciate its grotesquerie, its disgustingness, its beautiful nature, and just sort of the irony of life that is jam-packed into this movie. So I don't know. I loved it. I really am glad to own a copy of this. It's definitely going on my list this year, so. Last but not least, a movie that I never did get to see, but I actually have a copy on VHS. That's right. Long before I became an actual fan of the director, I have a VHS copy of Alex de la Iglesias' Action Mutante, which is older and probably not as built for today's world, so to speak. This was a movie that was done, I believe, in the 80s. It was a little bit more edgier times. Just got a copy from Severin. They put this out. If you don't know who Alex de la Iglesia, he did one of my favorite movies. It was The Last Circus, or The Ballad of the La Trompeta. Ballad de la Trompeta. That's what it is. Ballad de la Trompeta. Amazing movie. The Last Circus is fantastic about this clown that goes crazy and goes on a killing spree, but it's so much deeper than that. It's about life and like giving up on things that you shouldn't fucking believe in, and sort of the paths that we carve for ourselves and how we're destined to be pieces of shit. Alex de la Iglesia has a very dark sense of humor, and it's not for everybody, but Last Circus was one of my favorite movies. I also like he did another one about a priest and like a bong shop owner or some pot dealer who team up together to do the most evil that they possibly can to get as close as they can to the devil to finally kill him. And the priest is doing this like just ridiculously cute stuff that's kind of mean, but it's done in such a comedic way. It's like hard not to find, I don't know, somehow charming. But that movie is called Day of the Beast, and this one is Action Mutante, which is quite a different movie altogether. This was before Day of the Beast, and he also has an HBO series called 30 Coins, which the first episode of that fucking show is amazing. There's some creature shit in that is fucking mind-blowing. There's some mind-melting shit in that show. If you haven't seen it, check it out. But Alex de la Iglesia made this smash debut hit they called Delightfully Tasteless and Ridiculously Aggressive. It's a crazy genius sci-fi classic you've probably never seen. In a dystopian future ruled by the wealthy and attractive, a deformed and disabled terrorist organization known as Mutant Action will kidnap an heiress, flee to a desolate mining planet, and trigger an intergalactic bloodbath of berserk vengeance. I don't know why I never watched it. And it's so funny that I have a copy just sitting over here that I never watched. I think I just, some movies you just have to kind of mature for. And I think this is one of those ones that I kind of like became a fine age to really respect and appreciate Alex de la Iglesias. But he has so many movies that haven't even been brought over here to the US even. So some of them that are good, some of them I don't necessarily love, but are always weird. And I had to pick this up on 4K. So Severin has this copy. I believe it's like $30, $30 to $40 with shipping or whatever. So I had to pick this one up. I still need to get Day of the Beast on 4K. I'll get that at some point. And God, please, somebody bring The Last Circus to 4K because it totally deserves it. There's not even a Blu-ray hardly anymore that I know of. I think it's like rare as shit. So hopefully you can get a copy of that too. But have you guys seen this? Are you a fan of this? This has been around for a long time, so let me know.
Vamos a enseñar a esos mierdas lo que es terrorismo.
But yeah, that's it, guys. That's everything that I got. Hopefully there's some stuff in there that maybe you haven't heard of, or things that I brought up that might help you to find some stuff to watch. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Thank you to everyone that donated and everything to help me get some of these things. We had one of our friends, Ryan, who donated a large sum to us for, Christmas, and it was to let us go out and eat and also like get some things that we've been wanting, and it really meant a lot to us, so thank you for that. But yeah, if you'd like to help out too, you can help out by going to our Amazon wish list. We have a ton of different things on there. I try to mix it up, so there may be things that you like that you want me to review. I'll do that. You don't have to, but it's there if you want. And if it's not on there, let me know. I'll put it on there for you and we'll do a review for you. But thank you so much. I'm glad the new year's here. We're going to start doing the top 20 on the podcast first. Please listen to the podcast. It is a lot lot of fun. Christina, my girlfriend, and I sit down and talk about movies. We have a really good time kind of making fun of each other, so check it out. But thanks for coming by, guys. Appreciate you who love these videos, and as always, long live the void.